This conference will now be recorded.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I started. So guys, here you have to understand that like we do have different users. Linux user is different. The AWS user which we logged in is different. So AWS IAM user is to log into your AWS account, right? So I'm talking about that user now. So yesterday, can you do AWS space configure? You can do n number of times. It doesn't matter. If it is the first time, it will ask you the credentials. AWS space configure. Enter. See, already I can see the credential. But earlier it was showing none. See? So no need to enter it again. Enter. Just press enter. Again, see, secret key is also there. So I no need to change it. Enter again. If you want to change, you can again copy paste from there and paste it here. But why should I do that? Already, like I configured. Yeah, US is to again enter. So this default output format, can you make it as a table? So we do have three types of format. I'll show you the difference. Table, make it table. TABLE. Yeah, enter. Okay, good. So our AWS account is configured. Logged in. I logged in from this EC2 instance to my AWS account from command line. So now let's see how command line works. So what permission this user has? I mean that whatever the credentials I'm using. So yesterday we have added EC2, S3, IAM, Route 53. So everybody knows what is EC2, what is S3 bucket. S3 bucket is the storage related stuff, guys, in AWS. And again, IAM, yesterday I explained what is IAM. So only the thing is Route 53. Route 53 I'll explain today. So these four permissions I do have for this account, right? For this user, whatever the user I used to log into my AWS account. Now, can you do this command AWS? So I can do anything related to this four now. AWS space. See, I want to check how many EC2 instances I do have now in my AWS account. AWS space EC2 space describe hyphen instances. There are different commands for each service. Describe hyphen instance without space. I instances. Just up arrow, not instance. Yeah. See, guys, I can see that particular like a region. How many EC2 instances you have? Can you scroll little bit slowly? You can see like how many instances you have one by one. It is showing. Generally, if you go to EC2 dashboard, what it will show, guys? It will show how many EC2 instances you have. And if you select the particular one, it will show description part and all, right? Here, everything it is showing. For each EC2 instance, it is showing everything. Wait. Slowly. Yeah, good. Slowly, slowly. Little bit, little bit, little bit. Yeah, some more. Yeah, yeah. Wait. This is one EC2 instance. So right away, how many you have? Only one.
One, sir.
Then it is showing only one. If you have one more EC2 instance, it will show one more also here. So that EC2 instance full details you can check here. In the same way, I can check S3 buckets also. How many storages you have? Do it. AWS space S3 space LS. Run the command. Clear the screen. No. Why you logged out? Again sudo space -. Clear the screen. Always don't run the command at the bottom. Yeah. AWS space S3 space ls. Yeah. It will show how many S3 buckets you have. See, it seems he has 4 buckets, 5 buckets. Can you go back to your AWS account? There also check it. Go to S3 bucket. Yeah, services. So S3 is one of the service in AWS, guys. It's related to storage. We'll discuss about that storage later part of time clearly. See, I do have 5 buckets, 5 storage devices. I can see from command line also. So whatever you can do from console, the same things you can do it from putty session also based on the permissions. Okay, so that is how your command line will work, guys. You can launch an EC2 instance. You can create a new S3 bucket. You can delete it. You can stop your EC2 instances. Anything you can do from command line. The same things how what you are doing from console. That is what command line interface. Okay, now let's jump on to our setup. Go to that notes. GitHub notes. Yesterday I showed you, right? So guys, anybody try to set up already? Okay, not an issue. So AWS CLI already be installed. First step is done, EC2 instance creation, and AWS CLI already be installed. Yeah, go with third step now, one by one. Yeah.
Amar, can we do the same AWS console creation in Ansible also?
I didn't get you. Come again with Ansible.
With Ansible, we will create this AWS console command line. What we did in this Kubernetes, same thing. Can we do in Ansible?
So your question is, can we install Kubernetes with the help of Ansible? Is it what your question?
No, no, not Kubernetes. AWS that command line console. What we
CLI.
installed.
AWS
CL.
CLI steps. You're asking, can we install with Ansible?
Huh.
Yes, definitely. Definitely with Ansible, you can do anything.
Uh,
Okay?
but,
Yeah.
this is only on Ubuntu mission, or we can
No, no,
go
there is no conditions like that. But this procedure, whatever the commands you are using, it may work only on Ubuntu. Maybe some commands you have to modify. If you want to go with Red Hat Linux or CentOS, okay, maybe exact commands may not work. Not all the commands, some of the commands.
okay.
Okay? Yeah.
Please share that CentOS or Red Hat
Uh, that's what
that
here.
commands.
Yeah. Just a minute. Here you should understand which command is may not work, which command should. So just try once the same document. Definitely you will come to know whether. Let's assume that I'll give you one example. Let's take here I'm using apt-get command. Apt-get install some package name. So does it work in CentOS? So we have to use yum command, right? So based
Okay.
on that, we have to proceed. Okay, so we cannot get all the documentation for all the distributions. Okay, here my intention is you have to understand which maybe distribution work in which way. So definitely it's not a big deal. So only little here and there only some basic commands might be different. You will
Uh,
get if you try, definitely you will get it. It's not a big deal.
okay. Only
Okay.
one, two, three commands is enough in Ansible, right, to create AWS
Exactly.
S3.
The module names you have to know that. How to
Okay.
set up what exact first of all you have to understand what instructions, what commands I have to do. Okay. And one
Hmm.
by one get the module for each command. Definitely it
Okay.
works.
Okay.
Yeah.
We will later we will discuss about easy to new instance launch also, right?
Yes, definitely we will discuss all the AWS services. I mean, basic whatever we need, we'll use in DevOps. So definitely we'll
From
discuss. Don't worry.
from command line, right? Command
Yes,
line
not
in
exactly. So like, but definitely I'll give you the basic stuff in command
okay.
line also, whatever we require. It's very easy.
Okay.
Okay. Yes. Can you go to your putty session once? Maybe not putty. Open a document once. The Google. Go to Google once. Open a new page. New browser. I'm asking. Okay. Just simple. How to start a EC2 instance in AWS CLI by using AWS CLI. Just type it by using AWS CLI. Type it. You'll get the commands very easily. So open the first command. Come down. Come down. Yeah. See here. This is the command. AWS EC2 run -EC2 instances. Then I'm hyphen image. The red color it is showing red. Those things you have to modify based on your requirement. So it's not showing full fledged. I think just copy it and you have copy icon there. Yeah. Open your notepad. Paste it. Yeah. So maximize it. See here the whatever the details you need like image id count instance type key name security group subnet all these things you have to get it from your aws account and replace them then run this command it will create a new ec2 instance very easy it's not a big deal to get the commands. Okay, so we don't discuss all this stuff in again our class because we don't have enough time to do all this stuff. Okay, but I will explain what exactly like maybe already this is to create a EC2 instance. In the same way, you can list out, you can delete, you can stop it, you can start it. So anything you can do. It's very simple. It's not a big deal. You will get the answers very easily. Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
now go back to our nodes, the Kubernetes kops installation. Not this one, the GitHub one. I given link already, right? So open GitHub one. Yes, this one. So now create 53. Sixth step is done. Now.
Done, sir.
Show me in putty session. Be unmute only. Don't be in mute. So you don't have any disturbance, right? Yeah. So okay, good. Next. First of all, check it whether that kops is working or not. Just do KO and double tap. KO. KO means cops. I mean,
Wait,
just I'm
sir.
trying to. I'm sorry.
It's not working fully.
Okay, relog in one mode. I think it's inactive. Just press enter. You will get inactive session. Yeah. Now you can restart the same session. Restart. Now it won't ask any pass any details. That yeah, Ubuntu. Now sudo space -. Yeah, clear the screen. Just check it whether the command is working or not. Cops. KO and double press. Yeah, it's working. So why I'm doing double tap means guys, okay, if I do KO, maybe K and double tap, it will fulfill that command. So whatever the commands it starts with KO, it will show all the commands. So it seems with KO there is no commands, only cops command. So that's the reason it's fulfilling. Have you typed it or just it came on its own? Cops. Mana?
Automatically వచ్చింది. Double tap.
So automatic వచ్చింది. Okay, good. That's good. That means you have that command. Yeah, good. Now proceed with the next command. So now guys, what is Route 53? So Route 53 is a kind of a DNS management system. So guys, do you know what is DNS? How many of you are aware of it? What is DNS?
It will resolve name into IP.
Exactly.
IP.
Yes. So guys, we are connecting to youtube.com, facebook.com, twitter.com, right? So why we are not connecting with IP address? Why we are how we are able to use the names to our websites? How it is possible? So actually, every server, every device which is in network, okay, will have an IP address, right? But how we are able to use our names instead of IP address, and why should I use it? So why should I use it means because we cannot remember the IP addresses. So crores of IPs are there in a real time. So how can we remember all those IPs? Okay. So if we provide us namings to our servers, and there is a concept called DNS. So let's assume that I want to create my own website. Okay, I want that website should be accessed by everybody, by my customers and all. In that case, what should I do? Not only, so I'll set up my infrastructure, I'll install my application. Okay, so I'll with some IP address and all my content will be there in that, and that IP address I will create some DNS entry in global DNS somewhere. So if you want to register your website, there will be some procedure. Even I don't know how you will proceed globally, but in general we have some third party applications also, like GoDaddy, like so how I hope most of you are aware of GoDaddy. What is GoDaddy? Do you know that, guys? GoDaddy is one of the third party provider. You can create your domain and you can host your websites by using that domain, guys. In the same way, Route 53 also. Here also, you can create your domains. Okay, in that domain, something like gmail.com, that is one domain. Facebook.com, that is one. So you are, if I am working for my company, maybe Facebook, so I'll get amar at the rate gmail.com. Maybe sorry, amar at the rate Facebook. That would be my email address. Something like that. So everybody will have the same domain, the like emails, maybe the websites you have. So every website which in your organization will get the same domain range. Okay, so here Route 53 is also one of the DNS management system. There I can create my own domains. That can be public and that can be private. Public means even that websites that domain can be accessible from outside. Okay, and private means it is only internal service to your AWS services. You can so whatever the servers I'm going to launch now, right? So for those internally it will work. That DNS domain. That is what Route 53. Okay. Now go back to your AWS. Go to services. First of all, you have to get some details. Open your EC2. So in which your kops is running. First get the VPC ID. Which network it is. Click on running instances. So this server is just write down here kops master. Name it. Here first option, yeah, name it. Kops master. Just to identify. Otherwise, you might be confused later point of time. Kops master. Save it. So what is kops master? Where I installed kops is called as kops master. Now at bottom you may have your VPC ID. Get the VPC ID. Come down. Somewhere scroll down. Yeah. So copy this VPC ID. Just copy it in and place it in your notepad. We'll use this part later. I'll show you where this VPC ID will be used. Yeah. And also region also. The available region also. Region also. So where, yeah, availability is US is to 2. Copy that. That is availability zone, but that's fine. Copy it. Anyway, region means US is to 2. Availability zone means sub-region, kind of. Yeah. This is availability zone, whatever you copied. Because it has 2A, 2B, something like that. So, yeah, that's fine. Now go back to Route 53 service. Services, Route 53. Type it, search it. So you can create your own domain to create your websites. You can register your IP address. So how can I do that mean? So I can install one EC2 instance. So every EC2 instance will get one IP address, right? Okay. Let's assume that in that EC2 instance, I would like to set up my website. I'll set up my website there, my content, everything. And that IP address I'll take and I will come here and I will give some host name to my some DNS name by using this DNS, this Route 53. And if it is a public, even the customer can access that domain with that host name. They know it. Now we are using IP address, right? While connecting to our websites and all. I mean, in our practice session. If you create Route 53, you no need to provide that IP address. If you configure this Route 53, directly I can give my website name, whatever the name you configured here. Okay. Now click on DNS management. Yeah, create hosted zone. Again, click on create hosted zone. Now I'm going to uh, use some. So if you own your own domain already, okay, you have to provide here. If you don't have if you don't have domain also, you can give it, but that will be private domain. Okay, so you can use even third party domains also. Like if I have some account in GoDaddy, there I already have some domain. That domain also I can use it already. So here I'm not going to create a domain here. I'm going to use just existing domain. If you don't have existing domain, just give like your own anything. So it can be a private one. That means nobody can access this private domain from outside. Only internally, like between the, let's assume that I have multiple EC2 instances. And between these two EC2, so whatever the EC2 you have, okay, so I want to use some like a DNS name. Instead of IP address, I want to use DNS name. In that case, this concept will work. This private concept will work. Okay, now give any name. Just follow as it is, whatever you have in GitHub. So let's see what domain he created. Go back to GitHub. I think Veloxy.in, right? But it's your wish. I know it already. So his domain name is Veloxy.in. For you, go back to Route 53. You give something like maybe Amar.in. Okay, so take your own domain. It's up to you guys. I don't have that domain, so it can be a private. Select private, not public. Public means already it should be on your name, that domain. It should not be duplicate. You cannot create duplicate domain. Guys, I'm getting disturbance. Please make sure that. Yeah. Now select your VPC. Under which VPC you want to create this DOM. So same VPC, which you just copied into your notepad, right? Please make sure that you use the same VPC. VPC, not region. Don't copy paste. It won't work out. Just select it. Oh, go to your notepad once. No, go to your notepad. Already you have that domain name, right? Just remember, don't copy. That's what I'm saying. 05D6. Go back to that place. Select that 05D6 VPC. Slowly. Come down. Come down slowly. Come slowly. 05. Yeah, I think this one. Yes, select it. Because if you copy paste it, it may not take. It may take junk characters. It won't work out. Again, select it one more time. Not yet selected. 05D6. Yeah, that one. Select the name itself, VPC ID. Yeah. Now create it. So why Route 53 is required now? Because what if I create a cluster? If I create a once the kops installation is done, what will happen means it will log into my AWS account, the kops master, and in the backend, and it will create 3 EC2 instances. One EC2 it will make it as a master, and 2 EC2 instances it will make it as worker node, and between these 3 nodes there will be a internal DNS mechanism will be used to call one server from other server. That is the reason Route 53 is required. Okay, so this Route 53 will be used for internal purpose within those 3. So they will call each other by using the host names now onwards instead of IP address. Only that is the difference. Okay, now your Route 53 is also created, right? What is your hosted name? What is your hosted zone name? Amar.in, right? Now go back to your putty session. That's done. Route 53 is created. One domain is got created. Now go back to your GitHub. Let's follow the next steps. Okay, so create S3 bucket. Copy this. Wait, don't execute it because you have to change your name. Remove it. Just enter it. That's it. Don't execute it. Just paste it. So guys, documents are only for reference purpose. You have to know where I have to replace and when I have to replace. I cannot create duplicate S3 buckets, the same storages, right? I have to use a different name here. Right click. Yeah, okay. That's fine. It's saying that already bucket is there. Up arrow, not in your account. So it should be globally. Up arrow. Now instead of Galaxy.in, use Amar.in because our domain name is Amar.in, right? So instead of, yeah, Amar.in, enter. I think that is also already there. Okay, you do one thing, dev amar.kas.amar.in. No, same command. In the name dev amar.k8s, something like that. Dev amar.k8s.amar.in. Just I'm giving different. It's up to you. You can give any name with your domain. Enter. Yeah, bucket got created. See, I'm using AWS command, AWS CLI command. So I can I created one S3 bucket in my S3. You can check that. Go back to your S3 bucket. Input this in browser. You can see this bucket there also. Go to, yeah, click on services. S3 bucket. So I created from command line now. See, that bucket name is bucket is available now. Yeah, now go back to GitHub. Okay, that is done. Why S3 bucket is required here means my cluster configuration, my kops configuration, I am going to save it in S3 bucket, not locally. Okay, that's the reason I am using this kops, this S3 bucket. Copy this and don't execute. You have to replace the things here. You have to use, just paste it. That's it. Don't execute it. First, do one thing.
Just right click, sir.
No, no, not there. In the putty session itself, right click. So replace it first. Devamar dot whatever the S3 bucket you created. You have to give that name here. Amar dot in. Yeah, Amar dot in. Copy this now. Yeah, good. That's the best practice. Instead of directly doing, run it now. You can run it. So what exactly this command will do means, so actually in kops configuration, so it will look for this kops state store where I have to store my kops configuration. So I'm saying that I'm giving this path S3 bucket path. So it will go to that path and it will add all your configuration into that path. But you did temporarily. This command will do it in temporary basis. So to make it permanent, there is a file called vi/etc/profile/profile. Enter. Yeah, go to end of the file, Shift G. Yeah, now press O, paste it. So you created one setting, one variable, one environment variable. So you have to place it in this file. So it will be permanent. Now save this file. Escape :WQ. But if you do it command line, it will be only temporarily. So actually this step he did not given in our GitHub document. Okay, but it won't be persistent. You have to place that entry in that etc profile file. Then only it will be permanent. That setup. So later on, let's assume that you rebooted your laptop, your EC2 instance. Okay, that time it cannot read that cop state store if you run it in command line. Again, you have to set up. Then only it works. Your cops will work. That's the reason I made it permanent. Now, even if you reboot your EC2 also, that command will work. That cop state store will, so it will read that S3 bucket always. Now go back to your GitHub. Next. Okay. Generate keys. So why these keys are required, I will tell you later. First, generate this. So I'm generating SSH keys in my kops master. So later, these keys you can use to log into your Kubernetes. Yeah, press defaults. Enter. Just enter. Take all defaults. Enter. So we'll discuss about this keys later. So, but just for your awareness, these keys I can use it to log into my EC2. So because here my kops is creating like EC2 instances. Okay, so you don't, in that case you cannot get that PEM key and all initially, right? So how to log into my EC2 instance then? So that is where this case will be used. Okay, from kops master to Kubernetes, Kubernetes servers you can log in. Now go back. Next, clear the screen and okay. Here you have to replace the stuff based on your requirement. Copy this. Go back to Notepad. Wait. Don't run. That's what. First go to your Notepad, paste it, then replace it, then after paste it. Okay, here, what are the things I have to modify? Yeah, first name, dev amar dot hyphen name is there, right? Dev amar dot k8 dot k8s dot your S3 bucket name. Sorry, your cluster name, this one. Then domain name also amar.in. My domain name is amar.in, right? So please hyphen DNS zone should be amar.in. Okay. And availability zone also use the above one, US hyphen east hyphen 2b. Yes. Same as your kops master zones. Yeah. You are done now. So what it will do, again, please make sure that you copy paste correctly. See, something messed up. Hyphen zones. You did not so zones equals to, you are not removing AP hyphen. అక్కడ ఏపీ ఐఫన్ కూడా ఉంది, అది కూడా తీసేయాలి కదా. మీరు ఓన్లీ సౌత్ ఈస్ట్ ఐఫన్ డిబి తీసేస్తున్నారు. ఇప్పుడు పేస్ట్ చేయండి. యా స్పేస్. యా సో వీఆర్ గుడ్ టు గో నౌ. ఓకే, సో cops create. So I'm creating a cluster. So what it will do means just do control C. Control C will delete. Yeah. Now paste your the latest one. So make sure that you're doing correctly. Yes, enter now. Yeah. Now run this last command. Lastly, you got one command, right? Kops update cluster. That command. Run that command. Last line in the output. Yeah. Don't copy like that. You copied even that space also. No need to change anything. Directly you can. Don't copy like that. You have to copy exactly what you need from. Yeah, like that. That's the best practice. Clear the screen first. Always don't run the commands at bottom. Do Control L. Then after run that command. Control L will work. No need to type clear. Yeah, enter now. That's it. My kops is ready now. So it's going to create DNS names for my EC2. So it will launch 3 EC2 instances now. One is master, 2 worker nodes, and with DNS names also. So wait for some time. You will get those. It will take some time. Now you can verify what is the progress with kops validate space cluster. Kops space validate space cluster. Space cluster. Now it will show you what is the status. So wait for some time. So see here, you can see that the EC2 instances are getting created in the above output. So, but it's saying that validation failed, but no problem. It will take some time. So right away, it's not in, it's in progress, right? So it will take some time, at least 5 minutes. So what it will do in the backend now means it will launch 3 EC2 instances. Okay, and on top of those 3 EC2 instances, it will install Kubernetes. Okay, then after it will create a DNS names also for 3 of them, and network also will be configured for those EC2 instances, and some roles also will be created and attached to those EC2 instances also. So there will be some auto scaling, load balancing rules also will be applied. We'll discuss those topics. So while creating EC2, while creating our services and all, I'll show you that what will happen exactly. So let it complete. Just scroll up again, up arrow again one more time, validate it one more time. Yeah, still wait. If you go to your EC2, you can see 3 more EC2 instances. Can you go to AWS? Go to services, EC2. So why should I go with kops instead of the first method? So we'll discuss in some time. What is the current time? What is that? time now? 8:47. Let's see. Okay, see, you
8:57.
can see, yeah, you can see three more EC2 instances. Three more EC2 instances. Two worker nodes, one kops master. Okay, you'll get in some time. Wait for some time.
Yeah, Amar, I have a question.
Yes, madam, tell me.
Yeah, so here it created a new master because it didn't take the I mean whatever the
No.
sub we installed, right?
Yes, exactly. So what we install, what we have taken the Ubuntu machine, right? That is a kops master. That is not Kubernetes master. One more master will be created as a Kubernetes master. This is to just manage your Kubernetes. In
Okay.
kops, nothing will be there. Okay, just automation purpose you are using. So what kind of, so how exactly kops will work? So I'll discuss in some time. Okay, so that is the difference between kops and your regular installation.
So even
So
Kubernetes master also just managing the nodes, right, Amar?
yes,
If
so you will come to know the difference. That's what. Once you understand the difference, you can understand. I mean, like why I'm going with kops. If you know it, you can understand the like difference between kops and Kubernetes.
okay.
Don't worry. Okay, so I'll tell you that. So open your putty session. I can verify it one more time. So what it did, it launched three servers and it's doing some internal setup on those three EC2 instances. Still, it is showing verification failed. So wait for some more time. So it will come back. Okay, run it one more time. Still, it's taking some time. Wait. It will take minimum 10 minutes. You can see that message also. So please wait about 5 to 10 minutes for a master to start. DNS controllers to launch.
Ready, sir.
Okay. Yes. So now your cluster is ready. So all you set. So now you can run your Kubernetes command even from kops master, even from Kubernetes master also. Okay. Clear the screen. Now you no need to log into even Kubernetes master. You can run the command from here itself. Clear the screen. It's up to you. So we don't have any like objection here. You can run your Kubernetes command from here also, but here in kops master nothing will be there related to Kubernetes. Everything will be under your Kubernetes master only. Just it will go to in the backend, it will log into Kubernetes master. From there these commands will be executed. Now just do kubectl get nodes. See, you can see the commands. You can see the, so generally the same command will work from Kubernetes also, master also. So you can see one master, two worker nodes. Now let's see, I want to discuss about one more component in Kubernetes called service. Okay, so what is service? We'll discuss now quickly. So for that purpose, I want to share my screen. So guys, are you able to see my screen?
Not
Yes,
yet.
sir.
Okay, yeah.
So there is one more component called service. You have to aware of this. So generally in terms of Docker, how I will open the ports, guys? How I can access my thing application? So maybe let me show you in Paint. So let's take, this is my Docker host. First I'm explaining about Docker. Okay, so under that I do have one container. This is my container, some application. Let's take Jenkins application. Okay, so here I do have my Jenkins application. So generally, like how I will access this application. So on top of this I will open a port called this is container port. So for Jenkins, what is the port up number? 8080, right? Again I'll map that container port with one of the port in Docker host, right? It can be any port. Maybe let's take 80. I'll map this container port with Docker host port. So generally, how I will access? So the customer will access via, this is laptop. Just assume that. Now customer, how will access the Docker host IP colon Docker host port. This is how customer will access. Now what will happen? So it will come to here EC2, and through this door it will enter into your Docker host. Then after, there is a path already, so it will go to this door till this door, and through this door it will enter into this container. It will get the details from here to here. This is how your Docker host application will be accessible. But whereas in Kubernetes, so we do have some different structure, some extra component will be there. That is what service. To access your application from outside, okay, a service should be created for the deployment. Now let's see. So guys, this is about Docker host, not related to Kubernetes, whatever I showed just now. Now let's see how to access our Kubernetes cluster, like application. So this is your master, and this is my worker nodes. These two are my worker nodes. Okay. So here in master, what I will do, I'll create a deployment. Maybe nginx. That is one application, guys. Nginx is one of the application. That deployment, that image I'm using. So deployment means it's just a configuration. So what it will do, it will go to my client machine, and here a pod will be created first. A pod will be created, and under that a container will be created, right? Again, deployment is nothing but one configuration. Pod is nothing but one virtual machine. So on top of it, container will be created. Here my nginx application will be running in this container, nginx. So this is how your application will be. Now how can I access this container, this application? How customer will be accessing this container? Mean actually directly I cannot access as usual, right? There will be one more component called service. I have to create it. Okay, I have to create a component called service. One extra, one virtual machine kind of stuff. Again, one component, virtual component I'm creating directly. I cannot access this container from outside this application directly. So what I will do, here three ports will be there, not two. Earlier we have seen in docker only docker host port and container port. Directly we mapped a container port with docker host port, right? But here we cannot do that. So the architecture won't accept it, won't allow us to do like that. This docker this worker node port I cannot directly map with my container. Okay, there is again one more virtual component required called service. Why service is required means to access your application from outside, to expose your application to outside, you need this service, kubernetes service. Okay, so what I will do here, first, again as I told you, there are three ports, not two. This is called as node port. So earlier Docker host port, right? Here this is called as node port. The port on EC2, the worker node is called as node port. The port on worker node is called as node port. Again, here also one more port will be there on top of service also. So this port is called as port, just port. And port on my pod is called as container port or target port. So here three ports are there, not two. Target port. So you have to open three ports. So the communication will be like this. So let's assume that this is my laptop. Okay. So here how I will access my application main. So node port, sorry, node IP colon, I mean where my container is running, that node IP colon node port. This is how I will access. So first of all it will come here. So it will enter into this worker node through this door, this node port, and then after it will, there is a map already between node port to service. So it will enter into your so this is just for route. So we created a route. Through this route, it will reach out to this container, and from this container, so it will get the details, and from here it will reach out to your website will work here. That is how you can access your application. So service is a intermediate component between your node port and container port. So without this service, you cannot access this application to outside. There is no direct route from node port to this container port, this pod port. Okay, you have to create a route throw this service only. You have to expose your port, throw this service only. Without service, you cannot access this application from outside. But whereas in Docker, in terms of Docker, let's assume that this is my Docker host. So if you have container, so how I'm accessing? On top of Docker host, this is my container, and here my application is running nginx, nginx. My application is running. So directly, this is my container port, and this is my Docker host port. I'm mapping this container port with this Docker host port. Okay, so how customer is accessing his application? So directly Docker host colon Docker host port. This is Docker related, guys. This is Kubernetes. How exactly my container is working. So how exactly how customer is accessing your application. Okay, there is an extra component called service. So see here, in terms of Docker, you have only two ports, container port and host port. But in terms of Kubernetes, you do have, so here Docker host port is nothing but node port. So just I'm comparing with Docker to Kubernetes to make sure that you understand well. Okay, so in terms of Docker, this is called as Docker host port. In terms of Kubernetes, this is called as node port. Both are same. The port on worker node is called as node port. Again, a service will be created. It's a virtual component. Actually, it does not exist. We are going to create this service, one virtual component. On top of this, also one port will be there. That is what port. Just port. That port name is called as port. We'll call it as port only. Now, on top of port, you will have one more port. Okay. So on top of port, you will have one more port on top of part. This is called as target port data container. So you have to open these three ports while creating this service. Then only your application will be accessible. Otherwise, no. That is how Kubernetes will work. Now let's see how to create a service. It's very simple. Now open your session.
Yeah, Amar, what
Manoj.
are the advantages of that service?
You will come to know. That's what. So advantages means without this service, my application cannot work. Cannot work in the sense so obviously why I'm building my application? For customer purpose only, right?
Mhm.
If they cannot access, why this application is required? Yes or no? So my goal is this application should be accessible. So let's assume that this container has now YouTube application, YouTube website. Now customer is unable to access this YouTube. Why it is required then? Why should I build all this infrastructure and all? Yes or no? So I'm building my application because of like my application should be accessible to my customer so that they can view my website so I can make money with that. Right? So without this service, you cannot do that. If you want to go with Kubernetes, you have to create service. Then only this application can be accessible from outside. Otherwise, no. That is the advantage.
Okay, so I mean to say like it adds any security because there are multiple nodes or what
It's
is
yeah.
it,
So basically, it's not only for security. Your Kubernetes architecture cannot allow direct communication between the direct path between this node port to this container port. They created the architecture like that.
okay.
But definitely you have to create a service. With that service only, like this container should be accessible. Because here you will get some other additional features like load balancer. If you go with service, so you will get additional features which are not available in Docker. If you go with Docker, so do you have that replication concept? No, we don't have. We don't have high availability also. If this Docker host down, this application won't work, right? This container won't work. So you're getting all those functionalities because of this architecture only. So all together only you're able to do access your application. Yes or no? That is what the advantage.
Yeah.
Without service, you cannot access your application for sure. Yeah. So Manoj, please go ahead. Share your screen.
Okay, sir.
So where is Manoj? Where is Manoj? Okay. Okay. Now let's create one deployment. No need to launch anything. Nothing. It's done already. Our Kubernetes is ready now. Open your putty session, the kops master. So guys, as I told you, you can manage your deployments from kops master as well, even in Kubernetes master also. You can, so how to log in also I will show you, don't worry. So first let's do stuff here. kubectl create deployment. So I'm creating deployment first. kubectl create deployment space deployment name. Some any name your wish, some test deployment name, any name your wish. Some test name, test deployment, something like test, not text, test space hyphen image hyphen image equals to nginx nginx. That is one of the application image, guys. Nginx is again a web server kind of stuff. Okay, you can maintain websites by using this. Enter hyphen image equals to. Okay, run that kubectl create hyphen command. Hyphen image only, right? We used previously. Run that kubectl create hyphen help command. Kubectl create space hyphen help. Space hyphen help. Scroll up slowly. Scroll up. Wait. Come down slowly. Just a minute. I'm checking syntax. That's correct only. kubectl create deployment. Maybe the latest version may not have that -n image command. I think that's a problem. I think so. Let's see what I can use here instead of image. Process. Wait. Configure, deployment. Just use upper. Show me one more command, one more time. That command. What command we used exactly? Upper deployment. I think deployment spelling wrong, right? That's the reason. Change the deployment name. After Y, there is no E. Only deployment. That's the reason it's given. After Y, there is no E. E required. Yes. Now it should work. Yeah. So deployment command is wrong. Okay. So now kubectl get deployments. Now kubectl get deployments. Okay. Kubectl get pods. Now your application is there, but how can I access it from outside? Once the application is ready, how can I access it? The customer should access it, right? So how can I access means here? So let's create a service. kubectl expose space deployment. Deployment name is test. Yeah, sorry, deployment space test space hyphen type equals to node port hyphen type equals to node port. N and P are caps. Yeah, N and P both are caps. So I'll tell you what is this type. Actually, we have types in services. Node port type is there, load balancer type is there, cluster IP type is there. Three types are there in service again. Okay, so I'll tell you the difference. Node port and space. What are the ports I have to open? Hyphen port equals to hyphen port equals to port means which port it is, guys? Service port. I have to open three ports always. Remember that, guys. First one is node port. The port which is on node is called as node port. The second one is port. The port which is on port is service is called as port. The third one is target port. The port which is on pod is called as target port. So three ports I have to open. Remember that. In terms of Docker, only two ports: Docker host and container port. Here three ports. Hyphen port equals to any port, your wish. The port can be anything. 0 to 65,000. Let's give 80. It can be anything, but your wish. Then hyphen target space hyphen port without space. Hyphen target. No. After this space hyphen target hyphen port. Means this is the container port. You should give what application you are running in that container equals to that container port. It should be your application port. Yeah, equals to Nginx is 80 port. Yes, tell me. Someone is asking something.
Yeah, why we are not giving port for a node port? That is for the worker node actually, right?
That's what. Again, here node port by default it will take. You no need to give it.
Okay.
Okay. So don't. I'll show you that as well. So node port automatically it will take.
Okay.
You no need to give it. Okay, but if at all you require you want to get particular port, you can give it. We'll see that part also.
Okay.
Yeah. So give hyphen target port and it should be your application port always. Whatever the application you are running in your deployment. So my deployment is for Nginx. So you have to put Nginx port here. If you are running, if your deployment is for Jenkins, the Jenkins port you have to use here. Yes, press 80 and enter. Node port automatically it will take in between 30,000 to 32,700. Automatically, the worker node port. Okay, so it will take by default. Now run the kubectl get services. Yeah. So can you highlight the second service? The first one by default you will it will be created for your cluster. So just ignore that. And this is our service name which just we created. If you see the port field, the last button field in that line. Yes. So what is the port number? 31072. That is your worker node port. So as I told you, you will get port between 30,000 to 32,700. By default, you will get it. You no need to give that particular port. Okay, but if you need at all, you can give it also. But by default, it's not required. It will give automatically, dynamically. One of the port will be allocated to that worker node. 31,072. Now this port I have to open from AWS console. That worker node port. Now go back to AWS console. 31,072 port. Go to go to worker node. In which worker node my container is running? My pod is running. Do you know that? Go back to putty. kubectl get pods -o wide. Run that command. Use up arrow. You have that command, right? Just use up arrow. Up arrow. Up arrow. Yeah, this command. -o space wide. Yeah. Okay. So this is running on 215, 44 to you can see the node information. So 44 215, that is the private IP address of your worker node. Go ahead and check it. Which is that worker node? 44 215. Select your worker node one by one. You have two worker nodes, right? So select first worker node. Just check it. Come down. Check the. I think this is the worker node where you have that pod. Your application is running. Now select the security group. Here itself, right hand side, you have security group. Yeah, click on it. Now I am opening my port, worker node port, not port or service, sorry, target port. Worker node port I have to, you can expand it. Yeah, expand it. Now, I think, yeah, click on inbound rules. Scroll up, click on inbound rules. Edit inbound rules now. Above it's there, edit inbound rules. And open that worker node port. Come down. Add rule. Hmm. So what is the worker node port? That 30,000, sorry, 31,000. How much it is, guys? Check it one more time. 31,072. 31,072. That port you have to open always. Now save it. Yeah, make it from anywhere. Save it. That's fine. Already you did. Both are saved. Save rules. That's it. Now get the worker node IP colon that worker node port. You can access your application now. Go to services. Sorry, go to EC2 dashboard now. EC2 dashboard. Running instance. So select the worker node where my pod is running. Get the public IP. Yes. Open a new browser. Colon that worker node port number 31072. Now it will reach out to your worker node. From there to there is a route already to the service. From service to target port. That is how the communication will happen. Now press enter. See, your application is working. So as I told you, in service again three types are there. One is node port. That is what I did now. There is one more port called load balancer. Okay, so that one we'll see it in tomorrow class. Load balancer service type. What is the difference between node port and load balancer? We'll see in tomorrow class.
But
Okay.
Amar, I have a question, Amar. So
Yes.
now we have two nodes and there is a master node we deployed. So what about the other node? It should be deployed in other node also, right? Node 2? I mean,
No, actually. So if you create replicas, it will create on both the nodes. But you did not created any replica. You created only one part, right? So obviously your master will decide that on which worker node your deployment should be triggered. Your part should be created. So later point of time, if you have any replicas, means for the same deployment, if you create one more replica, so one more part will be created. So that one I will show you tomorrow class. That's what load balancer is required. If you have only one part, so no load balancer is not required. But if you're running your pods, multiple parts and multiple worker nodes, so in that case, load balancer is required. We'll discuss about that load balancer in tomorrow class. Then you can understand. That is the difference between the general installation and this kops installation. So tomorrow you can understand more clearly why I have taken kops. Okay?
okay.
Yeah. Okay then, guys. Thank you very much. So that's it for today. So and Dhanmanshu, so I need your help actually. So can you be online? So guys, everybody else you can log out. It's regarding our recordings. Okay. Hello, Dharmanshu.
Yes, I'm here, Aman.
Yeah, it's regarding our recordings.
Yes.
Just a minute.